The Broncos are so back. They are so back, baby. 24-22 win over the Bills. A statement win, honestly. The first signature win of the Sean Payton era and the Russell Wilson era. It's a shame it took this long for a Russell Wilson signature win. But sure enough, this defense is awesome. This defense is at a complete 180. I've never seen either side of the ball ever have a turnaround like this Broncos defense has had since the Dolphins game. I mean, takeaway after takeaway. They completely punked the Bills. Buffalo had nothing going offensively. The only little downer is Denver's offense could not convert on those takeaways enough and ultimately needed a walk-off field goal to save the day with a little bit of help since the Bills can't count to 11. But you know what? That's their fault, not my problem. But the final score, 24-22, Russell Wilson goes 24 for 29 in a game where he never looked more than 5 yards down the line of scrimmage until his big heave to Jerry Jeudy at the end to draw, what, by the way, I'll add, was clear defensive pass interference. I know sometimes the referees like to inject themselves into the game. That was a must-make call. It was obviously pass interference on the play. Javonte Williams was a major focal point of this game. 21 carries, 79 yards. The Bills definitely had a good run defense. They were stuffing a lot of these runs. But the big takeaway from this game was the takeaways from Denver's defense. I mean, we'll look at the Bills' offense against the Broncos' defense in just a moment. But takeaways. Let's look at Buffalo's offense against Denver. 4 takeaways forced by Denver. 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles. They could have had 6 takeaways. If Alex Singleton drags his right foot, that's a 5th takeaway. If James Cook does not get the luckiest bounce ever, that's another fumble. 6 takeaways nearly to be had. But the Broncos defense has this team the last 3 weeks winning 3-0. Baron Browning is undefeated since returning from IR or from the PUP list. And they're sitting at 4-5, getting ready for the Vikings, getting ready for the Browns, the Texans, the Chargers. Good teams. But at 4-5, this is what we were waiting for from Sean Payton. This is that Super Bowl winning coach that with Sean Payton, you go into any Sunday, any Monday, any Thursday, feeling like you've got a real shot at winning. I mean, hand up, I did not have Denver winning this game. I thought the Bills were going to win. I thought it was going to be close, and I was afraid that I was about to be proven right. But thanks to 12 men on the field, Will Lutz gets bailed out a little bit. It was a tough kicking conditions, but still, 24-22, Denver, 4-5, with not even a pulse. They are up and moving. They are out of their coma. That was the 1-5 start to the year. Coming out of the bye, I was very skeptical of Denver's decision to hold and not sell. But for once, this team just got, this locker room needs to start winning. They have to learn how to win games. And we are seeing that right now. It's fantastic. It's incredible. I've got a whole lot more to say, but really quickly, let me tell you guys about one of our sponsors, Game Time. Now, today's Broncos Breakdown is sponsored by Game Time. You should not have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. So if you want to go see a Broncos game, say Sunday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings, make sure you use Game Time, because what I love about Game Time is they have the lowest prices, so it makes a spur-of-the-moment trip that much easier to pull off. It's the place to find last-minute seats. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code BroncosChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code BroncosChat for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Russell Wilson was not magnificent in this game, right? But he was accurate with the football most of the time, 24 for 29. He did not really push the envelope. He had a career-low yards per attempt going into that final drive below 4 yards, but 192 yards and 2 touchdowns was a bit dicey, but ultimately It got the job done, and I'm not going to be the guy that complains about the quarterback, after a win. We need to see some bigger chunk plays through the air. It felt like the Bills were ready for what was coming for them. And if not for a last-minute drive, we would be cursing ourselves talking about 4 takeaways resulting in just 6 points. Just 2 field goals off those 4 takeaways. But ultimately, who cares? They won. We'll move on, right? We will repair the damage, and we'll get ready for Minnesota. Javonte Williams, you can tell that Sean Payton wants to run the ball. I also want to give some love to Samaje Perine. He didn't have a big role in this game up until the end, but he had some huge grabs to extend drives, pick up key first downs, and get some extra yardage. Courtland Sutton continues to be the go-to guy for Wilson. I'm not quite sure if that fumble should have been a fumble because Rasul Douglas was out of bounds and never established himself back in bounds, but whatever. 8 grabs, 53 yards, and maybe the best touchdown of his NFL career. I mean, incredible, accurate, and toe tap play by Sutton on the sideline. Now, before I fire off a few more takes, and you can tell I'm a little amped up right now due to the lack of voice. Will Denver make the playoffs? They're 4-6 right now. 4-5. I beg your pardon. 4-5. Will the Broncos go maybe 5-3 the rest of the way? Get to 9-8? That got the Dolphins the 7th seed last year. We've seen teams go 8-9 and make the playoffs. Can Denver go at minimum 5-3 and make the playoffs? Yes or no? Josh Allen's broken. Vance Joseph fucking broke Josh Allen. I mean, and here's how I know Josh Allen's broken too. If you watch the game closely, you might have noticed on a lot of key third downs, Denver was rushing 3. They were dropping 8 guys into coverage. They were saying, hey, Josh, we're going to drop 8 into coverage. We're not too worried about you running around. We're going to rush 3. We're going to keep Singleton in the middle of the field, have him spy on you, and we're going to bet that you can't pick us apart. And they were right. It worked out. Josh Allen, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. He's still going to be Josh Allen. He's still going to be good for some big plays. But Josh Allen, I know that the long debate for the last half decade has been who are the top 3 quarterbacks? Like Mahomes and then Allen or Burrow. Is Allen even top 3 right now? I don't think so. He sure hasn't looked like a top 3 quarterback this year. James Cook. I don't know if he's public enemy number 1 in Buffalo or a bit of a savior. Because on one hand, he sort of cost them the game. But on the other hand, he had some big plays to keep them in this game. But Denver's defense put the clamps down. Gee, how many times did you hear Stephon Diggs' name? Not very often. You know why? Because Patrick Surtain II is your cornerback. And that's why you don't trade away cornerstone pieces. Because when you go up against Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber players like Diggs, they get removed from the game. It's like they are not even in the same zip code as the stadium. Gabe Davis did have some chunk plays, 2 grabs, 56 yards. But how about that one play towards the sideline? Fabian Moreau comes over for a huge pass breakup on 3rd down. Moreau maybe playing the best game of his NFL career. Ultimately, though, Sutton and Jeudy led the way through the air. 53 yards, 8 grabs for Sutton. 3 receptions, 35 yards for Jeudy. And I'm at this point in the video and I just realized something. And maybe this is a foul on my end. I haven't mentioned Von Miller. In his first game against the Broncos, completely irrelevant, non-factor. Would he have 1 tackle? I mean, Latavius Murray was a bigger part of this game against the Broncos, his former team. Sam Martin was a bigger part of this game against his former team than Von Miller. Give credit to this offensive line. The penalties need to go down, but they gave Russell Wilson a lot of opportunities. Russ had some really nice clean pockets to throw out of tonight. Like I was saying, Diggs, though, not a part of this game. 3 grabs, 34 yards. Yeah, I'll take that every single day of the week. Dalton Kincaid slipped wide open on 1 play, cost him a touchdown. Outside of that, Denver's secondary, Denver's defense as a whole. 22 points might be like a, casual day defensively. No. This defense played their ass off. 4 takeaways, giving this offense time after time after time to go out there and put more points on the board. Stop after stop. They shut down the Bills. That's going to do it for us. What an incredible win for Sean Payton and the Broncos. 4-5. They're not just alive. They're off the hospital bed. They're going down to the cafeteria to get more Jell-O. Pretty soon they're going to be discharged. You know when they're discharged? When they beat the Vikings next week on Sunday Night Football.